Oh, it's so nice to have to be on campus today. Oh, I'm on. Oh, wait. I'm supposed to be on a tennis court. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Hi there. How you doing? My name is Jim Stockwell, and I want to thank you for joining us today. I want to thank Holly and the Center for Teaching and Learning for the 2026 Tech Symposium. And I also want to take a moment to thank my wonderful co-teacher, Jerry Brash. Thank you, Jerry, for leading me into this. Today, we are talking about from paper to pixels. That's right. The change from the standard of writing a paper to a video paper, if you will. So it's a wonderful subject, and we're looking forward to sharing all the cool stuff that we have with you. Yeah, I'm supposed to be on a tennis court today. Actually, I am sitting in my office and enjoying the quiet nature of the campus on a Friday and sitting back here and enjoying all kinds of things. But what we are going to do today is I have a PowerPoint that I'm going to share with you. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to jump over to that PowerPoint right now. And as always, with any type of PowerPoint or anything, Holly is great about getting this to us so that you guys can have this as well. And we will definitely share it with you. So from paper to pixels, how-to guide for the video paper. A couple of semesters ago, I had this idea in my advanced film class that as I was teaching about reviewing films and writing for journals or for newspapers, I thought about, well, it's getting a little bit more digital. And so I gave my students the option of actually doing a video paper where they could sit in front of the camera and they could actually deliver some sort of material to you and show what they were thinking about through their facial expressions and their tone of voice. Much of the same things, like Jerry mentioned, that we talk about in speech class, and it worked wonderfully. So last year, I used it again, and then I talked to Jerry about it, and we decided to incorporate it in our twofer, which is Real Minds, Psychology, Abnormal Psychology, Psychology 275, and of course, Film, Introduction to Film 180. So here we go, from paper to pixels. And so what's the plan? What do we got going on? Well, we got a bunch of things that we want to do, right? I want my MTV. That's right, MTV. Rest in peace, MTV. Finished up in 2025. But anyway, I want my MTV. We went wireless back in '02. We'll roll with the changes. This ain't your grandpa's paper. What grade are you in? Lights, camera, and action. Upload, download, overload. A guidance counselor, professor's laser, and mirror. Always sounds like a game show. All my classes always have like a game show. So this is our plan for today. So we got a lot of things that we want to cover as we go. So let's start off here. What is the value really of a video, right? Why do we want to do that? Most of us are in a classroom because we'd like to be in a classroom. Most of us are along the way trying to teach people to do things and skills and everything like that. So you have to be there. So what's the value of a video? What do we have that? Well, really, change is okay. Change is certainly okay. And we see the landscape changing. We know students are very, very tech savvy. As Jerry mentioned, they are part of the generation that grew up with technology. So they are technology natives. We are technology kind of immigrants, and so we're learning how to do that. So there is a very big value to videos, right? And as we look back through history, we notice that technology has always advanced. We've always went along with technology. When technology gives us the opportunities, we try new things and we do that. So we are moving more and more toward the digital world. So a video paper is a good idea, and that's where we're really going to start here today. I did want to point out to you that change is always on the horizon. Maybe you knew that Mozart used to raise chickens. Yeah, that's right. The famous composer Mozart used to raise chickens. He got rid of them because they kept saying bok, bok, bok. Mhm. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, moving on here. What it is, let's think a little bit about students and what do students think? Students are very, very comfortable with technology. As Jerry mentioned, they are part of that group, that native technology group. So they're like to do that. Also, it does give us an emotional connection. A lot of times, students do use their technology to connect with one another. They send little technology posts. They do different things. Their facey tweets and their fancy Facebook thingamabobs and all that other stuff. They're very, very comfortable with it. And it also does give them an alternative to papers. It does. We're starting to see that students are more comfortable with technology, not so much in writing notes or writing papers. And so this gives them an alternative. And that's really the kind of the main reason why we wanted to go with this. Even myself, a lot of you know that teaching wasn't my first career. Actually, I used to work in banking. More specifically, I worked in finance. I just kind of lost interest. Yeah, so that's how I ended up being a teacher there. But students are comfortable with technology. So as we move along in our daily lives, we know technology is becoming more and more important. So let's meet them halfway. Let's meet them along the way and see what technology allows them to do that. Now, another thing is what about us? What about us? As Jerry pointed out, we are technology immigrants, so to speak, right? So we are not really all that smooth with it because we didn't grow up with it. We grew up with maybe television and radio, but we didn't have the internet when we were younger. We went outside and we played, we drank from a garden hose, we rode a bike without a helmet. We did all that kind of stuff, and we're doing just fine. But as technology has advanced, we realize that things have gotten better. I remember using 8-track tapes. Heck, 8-tracks were state of the art. And then eventually we went to cassettes, and then we went to CDs, and then we went to iPods and everything like that. And then I was in the store the other day, and records have come back. So we see that. But one of the things about this assignment is it is an alternative to a paper, which gives us a little bit of something different to look forward to, right? And it also, we always talk about AI, and through this whole technology symposium, we've been talking about AI and the benefits on how to use it. Jenny did a great job with that. So it is a very, very important part of technology is the AI. But when you do a video, we can kind of put AI to the side a little bit because they have to do it themselves. And that's a big thing there. And it also changes the grading for us, right? We do something a little bit. You go through so many papers and all of a sudden you got a video. You go through so many papers, you got a video. So it mixes it up a little bit and it does that. Remember, even birds, they change, right? Birds, they fly south for the winter, they fly north again for the summer, and we know where all birds often stay when they travel. They stay somewhere cheap, right? So that's where we get most of that. We get that approach to it. Okay, all right. So there's things to keep in mind, though. There is definitely things to keep in mind. Students should still outline, absolutely outline. When I taught it into my advanced film class, I told them to outline what their thoughts were. You don't just turn the camera on and start talking. We don't do that. You've got to have a plan, much like in the speech class that I teach and that we teach here. We want them to outline and at least organize their thoughts. It reduces anxiety when you know what you want to talk about. So if we tell them, yeah, go ahead and do a video, we want to tell them to still outline. Think about the things that you want to talk about, have an outline, have it set up so you have it right there for you, right? This also helps organize your thoughts. Some of us are good off the cuff. Some of us are good in an impromptu situation, but not everybody. And a lot of people don't like that situation. So tell them to organize their thoughts, tell them to outline, obviously. And here's another thing that we did in our class, and I did it back when I did it in advanced film, making an option, not a requirement, an option. Give them the option. Can they write it or can they do it as a video paper? if you have the option, they might want to explore it. Remember, they're very comfortable with technology, so they might say, you know what, I might give this a shot. So make it an option. Don't make it necessary or make it a requirement. Make it an option along the way. Remember, we always want to have options. You always want to have an opportunity to do one thing or another. Not a lot. We don't want to give them a smorgasbord. We want to give them maybe one or two choices so that they feel like they're in control and they feel maybe encouraged to do it. And that's a big hurdle. We have seen that students hit a wall about three or four papers in. So give them that extra option. We always want to do that. We always want to have that kind of opportunity or that type of consideration. Speaking of that, by the way, just speaking of that, uh, remember on a boat, especially a cruise ship, there's one item in the bathroom that you really don't want to use as a life preserver. It's not an option, and that's the sink. Okay, anyway, all right, moving on. Now let's talk a little bit about the grading. How do we go about grading? Because I'm sure a lot of us want to know, what do we do? Do we have a rubric that goes with it? Of course you have a rubric. Just like you have a rubric for a written paper, you're going to have a rubric for a video paper. Now, one thing I want you to avoid is the quality of the video. Some students are going to be using their camera off of their laptop. Some are going to be using it off their phone. Some of them are going to be using it at the library. Don't grade it on the quality of the video. What we want to focus in on is, what points are you looking for? When Jerry and I give an assignment in Real Minds, we go over it before we talk about it. We show you, hey, this is what we're looking for. This is what we want you to do. As you review this film, look at these items. And so those are the items that are the buzzwords that we're looking for when we grade the paper. Well, do the same thing with a video. Tell them, hey, I'm looking for your opinion on this, this, and this. And so when the student outlines it, when the student puts it together, they know, oh, I got to hit on this, this, and this. And then when you watch the video and you're listening to you're looking for this, this, and this. So always do that. And then also score accordingly to how they did that. If they say this movie was terrible, well, why do you feel that way? Go into it. It'd be the same as if they wrote it in a paper. So grade accordingly. Go in that way. Also, as far as time is concerned, some people like to have a length of a paper, which I know I'm going to ruffle a few feathers here. I don't agree with. I don't think you should put a word count or a page count. The reason why I say that is that's what everybody looks for. That's what says, oh, I got to write a 5-page paper. No, I want you to hit on these 4 items. Well, if you hit on these 4 items, the length of the paper is going to fluctuate. Some people are a little bit, have economy of words, other things like that. So when you're writing a paper, give them a range. Say, you don't want 2 to 4 pages or 1,400 words. Even though I don't totally agree with it, give them a range so that they don't feel like they have to get to a certain point. Let them be creative. Never put a limit on creativity. So with a video paper, do the same thing. Say maybe 2, 3, 4 minutes. Then you've got a range. So somebody doesn't say, I just got to fill 3 minutes. No, I want to hit on these items. And if you hit between 2 and 4 minutes, awesome. So that way you give them a range. Always think about that when you're grading something. Always give them a range, because students learn differently, students interpret differently, and we've seen the research that say that they learn by doing. And so giving them the opportunity to do something and a range helps them not only achieve the actual outcomes of the paper, but also have a little bit more fun with it. And that's really going to be the key. If they're having fun, they're going to do better on it, and you're going to have a better paper or a better video to grade. Okay. All right. So speaking of that, thinking about what we're doing with it, let's move on a little bit to talk a little bit about the camera and how to use the camera. Yes, you want to grade quality of the content of the video, not the quality of the video itself. So we want to keep that in mind. And so when you are using a camera, and most students are aware of this because they do selfies and they do all the things, you use the camera as an audience. In other words, talk to the camera, not at the camera. It's just like using a microphone. I do the same thing in speech class. Just like talking to a microphone, you talk to the microphone and you use it as an audience member. Use the camera as some sort of audience. Use it that way, okay? We actually have a entire section in our new speech text that talks about speaking online, and that is a very big key. Be natural in front of the camera. Be yourself. Don't be afraid to laugh. Don't be afraid to cough. Don't be afraid to fumble over a word. There's nothing wrong with that. Anybody that doesn't fumble over words, there's usually we do. So don't be afraid to do that. So allow them to have the opportunity to be real, right? And if they have to wear their glasses, they have to wear their glasses. If they they're in a room and they want to blur the background, they can do that too. So there's nothing wrong with any of that. Just remember, even smartphones wear glasses. Most of the time, that's because they lost their contacts, but you get the idea. Anyway, so use the camera as an audience and talk to the camera, not at the camera. All right, another thing here. Let's talk about posting. Let's look at the actual physical posting that you would do there, right? When we post something, we can do a lot of different things. That there's so many options out there. You know, you got TikTok, you got Instagram, you've got YouTube. Actually, that's the one that I usually have students do because when you do it on YouTube, you can make it private. Yes, you can make Instagram and you can make TikTok private, stuff like that. But with YouTube, there is actually a privacy setting. And when you send the link to the instructor, that is only the person that can see it. And so therefore they feel a little bit better about it. I go through an entire section. There's actually a section in my modules that talks about video posting, and it shows them literally how to do it. On YouTube, it's really, really simple. You have to sign in. You have to get an account with YouTube. And if you use your phone, there's a plus button right on there, and you hit plus and it says, do you want to create a video? And you just hit on the little things that you want. Who's it made for? Is it made for kids or made for adults? How long it's going to be, things like that. It's very simple. Even us immigrants to technology can figure out how to do that. Actually, that's how I did this one. I put it out on the YouTube and I shared it with Holly and with Jerry and with all of you, and it's there. It's ready to go for you. So it's set up that way. So when we post things, the easiest way to do it is to do it on YouTube. Set up an account, hit the plus button, use your outline, use your PowerPoint, use whatever you're going to use, and organize your thoughts, and then hit post, share that link, and off you go. It's very, very simple. Even I figured it out. So if I figured it out, I'm sure everybody else could figure it out. It's really good. Speaking of videos and sharing and videos and things like that, one of the most popular games when I was younger was Where's Waldo, right? What I thought was kind of interesting is that Waldo always wore stripes. Always wore stripes. And the reason he wore stripes is he didn't want to be spotted. Yeah. Okay. All right. That's good. That's good. We got that. Okay. All right. So, little advice to students. What's a little advice to students? Let your personality come out. Let your personality come out. Be you. Be yourself. Don't be afraid to crack a joke now and then. Have them watch this video. They can have some hysterical jokes. They can do that. Also, it's something to try that is new. It's a little bit different to be at a college class and then say, hey, instead of writing a paper, make a video. They probably don't have a lot of experience with a video paper, but they have a lot of experience with video and videography. So let them be themselves, let them do that, and stress. And we do this in our twofer, and I do this in my class. Stress having fun. Have a little fun with this. When you have fun with it, you tend to put a little bit more effort, and then the quality actually goes up. So don't be afraid to have a little fun. A little bit of joke, a little bit of the here and there, and it doesn't have to be smooth. It doesn't. We're not the 7 to 10 anchor on ABC News. We are a student that is learning. And so we've got to give ourselves a little bit of grace when we're doing that. Students like to try new things. And so this is an opportunity for them to do that. And you also have to point out, too, that when students don't have anything to do, they usually play board games. So a video will be something to have fun with. Right? So we have that. Okay. Some advice for us from our point of view. One of the things that I want you to think about it, first off, allow yourself to be a little different. Okay. Allow this to be something that is new for you. Are you going to know it right off the bat? No, absolutely not. This is an opportunity to experiment. This is a way to change your curriculum, change your assignments, change the way that you approach things. That's always good. And give yourself grace. Give yourself a little chance to learn. If we gave up on everything that we didn't master right off the bat, we would never do anything. Not being able to do something is not a deterrent. It is actually an encouragement. It's an opportunity to try something different. And so give yourself a little grace. Give yourself a chance here. I've seen many of my fellow English faculty talk about all the papers they have to write. Yes, or all the papers they have to grade, I should say. And yes, that's there. So give yourself a little grace. Give yourself something different. Try something a little new. Maybe you will like it. Maybe you won't like it, but you never know until you try. So give yourself the opportunity to try something new. Give them a chance to actually create these videos and see what you get. You might have a lot of fun with it. And if you're having fun, hey, that's what it's all about, because it makes us a better teacher, it makes us a better grader, and it gives us a chance to develop further along as a college professor. Okay. And remember, things change all the time. Things change. I remember when buying a balloon was very cheap. It was like a quarter. I went to the store the other day, and the balloons were now costing $5. And I thought, man, inflation. Whew. It's rough, right? So that sort of thing. All right, so let's give this a shot. Let's give this an opportunity as far as what we would look for. So this is what Jerry and I are looking for in our video papers. This is kind of what I'm looking for in my advanced film papers. So we're going to try to give you an opportunity to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop sharing the PowerPoint, because we don't need to do that anymore, and come back to right here. So now you get to see me. You might have been watching me off to the side there, but you get a chance to see me here. Okay, so one of the films that we've chosen to show our students in Real Minds is the movie Silver Lining Playbook. It was a film that was based off of a novel of the same name, and it stars Bradley Cooper, it stars Jennifer Lawrence, Jackie Weaver, one of my favorite actresses of all time, and then also Robert De Niro. And the idea behind that film from the psych point of view was to look at bipolarism and how it affects not only the person that is afflicted with it, but also the family around you. So that was there. From a filmmaking point of view, there was a structure to that film that I wanted the students to see. The film starts off after the main character, which is Pat Jr. Pat is released from a mental hospital after having a breakdown. And that was a very important part of it. And then there was also the home life that he had, also some of the things that he was doing with various different people. So we looked at the film from a psychology point of view, and we looked at it from a filmmaker's point of view. So this is kind of what we were looking for. Hello, Mr. Stockwell and Mr. Brash. My name is Jim Stockwell, and I'm a student in your Real Minds class, and I am doing a video paper for Silver Linings Playbook. One of the things that Mr. Stockwell wanted us to look at was why did the film start after Pat Jr. was released from the mental hospital? My personal feeling was that to show his development in a natural home setting. If we started the film in the mental hospital, we would have saw a lot more of the routine and some of the things like that. But that is to help him get ready to face the outside world. So I think it was very important that the director started it after he got out of the mental hospital so that he had an opportunity to grow and deal with the things that were going to be there. We saw a lot of it, the way that he interacted with his father, the way he interacted with his mother, the way he interacted with his therapist. Those things, that's real world things. Also with Tiffany, we noticed that his interactions with her were a little different because he still had the thought that he was going to get back together with his wife. So he kept Tiffany at an arm's length. Now, from the psychology point of view and the way that they represented bipolarism, as we learned in class, we talked about the way that you had mania and you had depression. And we saw a couple of things like when he was reading the book and he was up all to the middle of the night reading the book, he didn't have any reason to go to bed. He wanted to finish reading the book. He was very impulsive. He would do certain things. He would go out running. There was actually a conversation he had with Tiffany where he says, do you want to have a dinner here at this restaurant? So he was very impulsive. He had a lot of manic episodes, but he also had other things that would change as time went on. And we saw him handling it. We saw them with the medication. So I thought it was a good representation of the way bipolarism is in reality, not necessarily in a Hollywood type of situation. My overall feelings about the film were excellent. I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. I thought that Pat did a Bradley Cooper's character, Pat, was realistic. I thought Jennifer Lawrence's character, Tiffany, was realistic. I also thought the addition of the fact that they were football fans and Mr. Brash showing us the video at the beginning before we watched the movie helped me have a little bit of context of how they feel about the Philadelphia Eagles. So my name is Jim Stockwell, and this is my Real Minds video paper for the movie Silver Linings Playbook. Thank you. So those would be kind of things that we would looking for. We also give you a lot of ideas and a lot of different things that you could go with to understand how we set these up. Remember, do this as an option. Allow the students a little grace. Don't grade it on the quality of the film, grade it on the content. So make sure you outline exactly what your expectations are and then have the students follow that along so they don't just turn on the camera and start blathering on about something. They actually have a plan, which reduces their anxiety and also makes for a higher quality assignment. So it is possible to avoid writing a paper. You can do it with a video, and it gives us a little bit of an extra idea and an alternative way of looking for an assignment. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you enjoy this. I want to thank Holly personally for her wonderful setup for the symposium. Thank Anne and the rest of the faculty development team for getting this together. And I would be remiss without thanking Jerry, the most wonderful co-teacher that I've ever had. We've been running on a solid decade here. Sooner or later, Jerry will get paroled and he'll have himself another co-instructor. But until that time, we'll continue working together. One last thing I wanted to tell you, I'm going to go have lunch now, and I'm going to have some eggs for lunch because I like the protein. But I also want to tell you that eggs usually don't tell jokes to one another because they will crack each other up. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining us at the Tech Symposium. Have an awesome rest of the day. Have an awesome weekend, and we'll see you next time on the pewter.